Taruna Naidu, and I'm a partner in the PwC Business School. And I'm joined today by one of my fellow PwC partners, our African corporate finance leader, Johan Skutter. So welcome, Johan. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Board Investment Forum, which is one of the forums that we run under the banner of the PwC Boardroom Forum. So, Johan, perhaps to kick us off, you can just share what's the Board Investment Forum all about and what is the aim of this forum?
Thanks, Taruna. The Board Investment Forum is a platform that was established by PwC a couple of years ago, and it's meant to encourage conversations around topical investment topics of the day. The aim of this is to hopefully assist key investment decision makers in companies to make better investment decisions or more informed investment decisions. So the audience for this is typically the C-suite sort of members that focus on investment decisions, like the CEO, the CFO, the head of strategy, the head of M&A or business development. And then obviously non-executive directors that focus on making these investment decisions. It covers both private and public companies, and it obviously covers the private equity industry as well.
So it sounds like a very impactful forum, Johan. Give us a sense of the types of topics that you've covered in the past under the banner of this particular forum.
Yeah, I mean, Taruna, you're quite right. It could be impactful if you choose the right topics. So, in the past, our topics have been more theoretical, but recently we've been choosing, a few more practical topics. A recent example is the electricity crisis and the impact that has on the South African economy and on companies. So we now have a government of national unity, which will hopefully lead to better growth in the economy. And if we recall, this investment forum was at the end of 2023. About 6 months later, the sort of load shedding in the South African economy stopped. But as more growth potentially returns to the economy, then it's very likely that load shedding will return. The other impact, of course, is that many of our power stations are now sort of nearing the end of their useful lives. So as soon as those power stations go off grid, then our load shedding would increase. Other topics included our annual global CEO survey and the impact that has on investment decisions. It includes ESG with an emphasis on the S, and how investment committees should sort of need to take the social impact into account when they make investment decisions, and topics like that.
Absolutely relevant. I mean, and certainly areas that I think many organizations are grappling with. So what can we expect from the forum in 2025?
Well, hopefully we will have 2 sessions this year. I think we're planning the first one for around June. The second one, for either October or November. So one of the topics I would really like to cover is the water crisis. It really impacts, every company out there. Access to a stable water supply is critical. So we know that many of our provinces have water supply challenges. So it covers obviously raw, sort of bulk and potable water. We also have challenges at the municipal level in terms of the water treatment and sanitation facilities. There's been massive underinvestment over many years in those facilities. So how do you address this? The government can't solve it on its own. I think the private sector can't solve it on its own. So there's a new kind of collaboration model that's needed between the private sector and government to address this. And I can say that we are working on one such model. So I think that's a very interesting topic. The second topic, sort of more political in nature. South Africa is now leading the G20 for this year. So it'll be interesting to see what influence President Ramaphosa can exert on the G20. We now have a new president in the US. His potential policies that he's announced earlier this week certainly caused some concern. So what impact does that have on the global economy, geopolitics, and of course South Africa? And then the final topic would be an update on the electricity crisis. We note that we still need to add base load capacity to replace base load that's going to go off grid in a couple of years. We need private investment in the national transmission infrastructure. And there's potential sort of deregulation coming later, sort of this year, in the distribution of electricity, which I think could give companies direct access to the grid. Of course, other topics I'm sure may become relevant later in the year.
Absolutely. But I mean, just listening to your reflection, these are certainly relevant topics for the audience that we are inviting to this particular session, and the types of topics that have a direct impact on ability to do business in the local economy. So really looking forward to that. So Johan, thank you so much for joining me and just sharing a little bit more around what to expect from this Board Investment Forum. A reminder to our audience that would be interested to attend to really just subscribe to make sure that they continue to receive the invitations and correspondence around some of the upcoming events that you've just described. And our events continue to qualify for continuing professional development certificates. So attendance does give you credit towards some of your professional body continuous professional credits as well. So I think that's an added bonus in terms of attending some of these events. So thank you so much for joining us to hear a little bit more about the Board Investment Forum, and we do hope to see the audience that is watching this video in some of our physical events over the course of the year. So thank you.